Hello, listeners. This is Kat, and welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfics. This will be the continuation of Little Acts of Kindness. This will be Part 90, Chapter 90, entitled Say Goodbye. Tetsu stared at the screen that was lit up with a green smiley face. First, all the power had gone out, but now, some of it returned, just enough for the TVs to light up. Soon the green smiley face faded to reveal Midoriya, who was standing with one hand gripped into the robot's hair, the man kneeling next to him looking pained. "Hello, heroes," Midoriya said, his voice sickeningly sweet. "I'm so pleased to see that all of you could join in. I really do detest going to such methods, but it needs to be done if I want to bring change to society. And change will come. This man here was working on a new law, one that would stop police from investigating the disappearance of people with mutation quirks after a certain period of time. You see, Mr. Mayor here was part of the mutation trafficking ring. He liked to buy up women, and I'm sure you can imagine what he did with them. If you can't, well, let's just say that he had his fun with them, mentally and physically." Tetsu shuddered at the words, feeling sick. Was that really something that the school had programmed for the robot, or left evidence behind for people to find? Or was it just something Midoriya made up to prove his point? "Don't believe me," Midoriya said, almost seeming to read Tetsu's mind. "We found some proof before we decided to kidnap him. Not that we weren't going to anyways, but this just makes it more enjoyable." The screen changed, revealing some footage of the mayor robot with another robot that had a mutation quirk, and Tetsu felt sickened as the mayor slapped the robot even if most of his action was being blurred out. Midoriya gave a slight laugh, sounding a bit sick. "Yeah, that was just as much of a surprise for us as it was for you. The video came blurred at least. Seems that someone didn't want to traumatize us too much," the boy said, slightly breaking his character, as he made a slight reference to the fact that they were in a school event. "Don't worry, though. Since you heroes can't do your job and stop the real scum that populate this city, we'll do it for you. Say goodbye to Mr. Mayor." Tetsu winced as Midoriya's other hand lashed out, slitting the throat of the robot. Though no blood came out, there was still a spark of electricity. Midoriya dropped the robot, and the camera zoomed onto his face. "Now that the unpleasantness is out of the way, let's get on to business, shall we? I plan to bring change to society, and unfortunately you're standing in my way. So I will prove that you heroes are useless at your jobs. You failed us so many times, and now you'll fail to save the other innocents of the city." Midoriya paused, then a slow smile came to his face. "Being a hero means you're supposed to protect people, right? Well, there's some fair people in the city who could use your help right now. I bet you didn't even think about them, did you? No, you were more concerned about what us villains were doing." The villain leader chuckled. "But as of this very moment, people are slowly dying one by one, painful, drawn-out deaths as the machinery that keeps them alive failed them. A backup generator that failed to turn on. Have you realized it, heroes? What place needs your help?" Tetsu froze as the realization came in. The hospital. This city had a fake hospital, and if the backup generator had been sabotaged. He started to rush, making his way to the hospital, TV screen showing Midoriya's face as he laughed. He laughed, dark, evil, and it scared the hell out of Tetsu. He was one of the closest people to the hospital, and as he turned down the street, the building came into sight as the laughter stopped. "Sorry, heroes. This isn't me giving you a chance to do your job. No, this is me rubbing your failure into your face. I told you, heroes, this is the worst 3 days of your life." There was a small pause, and then Midoriya's grin stretched. Watch, because heroes, this is just the start. Goodbye, hospital," Midoriya practically shouted, laughing. An explosion rang out, and in front of Tetsu's eyes, the hospital went up in a large fiery explosion. Tetsu froze, staring at the rubble that started raining down all around him, activating his quirk to protect himself as he looked at the building in disbelief. Midoriya had really destroyed an entire building. Just for the exercise? Was that something they were supposed to do? And then Tetsu thought about this. What if it was real? If Midoriya really was a villain and destroyed a hospital full of innocent people? The hero student felt sick as the implication sunk in. The destruction that a villain could actually cause. The loss of lives. Could Tetsu really live with himself if this was real? If he really did fail to stop the villains from killing so many people? The laughter of the video faded away, being replaced by a green smiley face again, and then completely turning to black as the TVs lost power once again. Tetsu stared at the remains of what used to be the hospital. It was just a pile of rubble now. Tetsu, snap out of it! A voice called out, and he felt a dull slap on his cheek and someone hissing in response. He blinked and saw Shota staring at him, the boy weirdly at eye height instead of him needing to look down. It was only then that Tetsu realized he had sunk to his knees in his shock. Pull yourself together, we need to look around. There might still be some civilians we can rescue, or the villains might still be around, Shota said, his normally gentle voice sounding more stern. Tetsu gave a slow nod and stood up, following after his class's vice president. Eijiro loved his role. He was the anarchist, the destroyer. He and Kaibara made a pretty good team to destroy places. Currently, he and the boy were inside the hospital dressed like nurses. The robots didn't bother them as they moved throughout the building, hiding bombs throughout the place where they had identified weak spots. Really, they weren't looking to use the minimum amount of bombs. This explosion was meant to shake the entire city, so the bombs were being stuck anywhere they felt would be good. Eijiro had also tasked Kaibara with destroying the backup generator, which was, according to Midoriya's plan, for the recording he was making. The heroes might think the video was live, but really it was pre-recorded. With the building fully armed with live bombs, the two went to rest for a bit, and then they went to help Hagakure and Yanagi out, destroying the hero agency in the process. Then the two were moving back towards the hospital, setting up a station on a roof a good distance away where they could watch. They waited, and soon the TV screens lit up and Midoriya gave his speech. This one sounded a bit more unhinged. This time he wasn't being charismatic and slightly threatening. No, this time he was being fully threatening. And then the signal was given. Watch! Watch, because this is just the start. Goodbye, hospital! Midoriya shouted, and Eijiro and Kaibara pressed the button together, causing the hospital to blow up in a blaze of orange, the rubble raining down around them. Eijiro laughed. That was beautiful, he said, wiping away a fake tear, grin spreading across his face. Kaibara gave a snort. I think you're getting a little too far into your role. There's no one around us, Kirishima. Eijiro waved a hand. Sorry, but I mean it was amazing. What person doesn't like explosions? Kaibara shook his head. It was cool. The two villains got up, starting to move down the building's roof and toward their base when they were spotted. Villains! It was Tetsu's voice. Eijiro scowled. Well, looks like we have a couple heroes that were quicker on the uptake than the others. What's the matter? Your leader couldn't be bothered to show up for these people. Eijiro let a wide grin stretch across his face. Oh, wait, she's dead. Dead? Shota repeated. He chuckled. Yeah, poor little edict bit the dust a few hours ago, but I guess heroes really don't care about others, do they? Instead of helping any survivors, you're confronting us villains. Tetsu scowled. We're going to stop you villains, so you don't cause harm to anyone else. Eijiro laughed. You can try, but maybe I'll turn you into art, just like the hospital. I'll tear down this system, and anyone who gets in my way must die. The two villains launched themselves at the heroes, a fight breaking out. Eijiro fought against Shota, who had a quirk that let him double his punches, basically, with a more powerful second hit. Kaibara had drills, and Tetsu metal, and both fights seemed to be at a standstill, neither able to be damaged by the respective other. But as a third hero turned up to the fight, the tides of the battle changed. Tokiyami showed up, dark shadow out and growling menacingly, active and angry in the low light. Tokiyami looked like he was in pain and struggling to control the shadow, which was large. Get out of here, Kaibara shouted. I'll hold them off, but our leader still needs you. But Eijiro started to protest. Go, Kaibara yelled, throwing himself at the heroes. And Eijiro fled, even as Tetsu managed to get past Kaibara and give chase. The chase lasted a good 10 minutes before Eijiro found Ashido, who was spray painting another smile, laughing to herself as she did so. Ashido! He called out, and her head snapped up. Well, looks like a party was brought to me. Let's have some fun, she cheered, hands raising up and acid blasting out. which Tetsu just barely managed to dodge. But the hero was now outnumbered, and he clearly recognized that, as he turned to retreat, probably to try and not lose another member of the dwindling hero team. Ashido gave chase for a moment before coming back. "Thanks, Ashido. I couldn't shake the guy," Eijiro said, giving a smile. "No problem, but we should probably return to the leader." Eijiro nodded. "Well, damn," Cementos said, staring at the rubble that was the hospital. "I know we tasked them with destroying the hospital, but this is the most thoroughly I've ever seen it destroyed." Nods from the others answered him. "I still can't get over Midoriya's second video," Nemuri muttered, shuddering as she did so. "Let's make sure the kid never becomes a villain, yeah? I don't think our world would survive if he really did join the other side." Hizashi gave a hum. "I don't think he would be alone if he did go either. I'm fairly sure some of the other kids would follow him if he did go." "Nezu, did you make Midoriya the villain leader on purpose?" Cementos questioned. The principal grinned. "I did make him the villain leader." "Was that such a good idea?" Nezu nodded. "Yes, this exercise was used to boost his confidence. Midoriya-kun is intelligent, but he doesn't believe in himself. I've been helping him to realize that he is smart, but without the confidence to back it up, he would keep his plans to himself. This way, not only am I helping him gain the confidence he needs, but I'm having other students realize that he is smart as well. This will prompt them into asking him for his plans and thoughts, knowing that they would be able to listen to him and succeed." Yagi frowned. "You set this up on purpose. What if he fails, though? Wouldn't that do the opposite? And did you select the teams as well, or were those actually randomly generated?" Nezu chuckled. "It was a calculated risk, but I was 86.42% sure that he would succeed, even with the team he has. As for if I had anything to do with the teams, well..." Nezu sipped his tea, grinning. "I'll just let you wonder about that. I have to keep a few cards close to my chest, after all," the principal answered. Shota shuddered a bit, though he was of the firm belief that Nezu had set the teams up, that he had stacked the teams to be against Midoriya. The stoat did love his tests, after all. All right, listeners, this concludes Chapter 90 of Little Acts of Kindness. Chapter 91 will be up next. Drop those comments below so I can hear what you all thought about this chapter. Midoriya being a little more unhinged than in previous chapters, and a hospital being blown up, so it's definitely taking a turn. Let me know what you all thought, though, and as always, thank you so much for listening.